everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So, Republicans outperformed last night's elections. They have won every single Supreme Court seat and Court of Appeals. They killed it last night. Democrats, on the other hand, blew it. They did not do good. They didn't do good on the primaries. They didn't do good in the Supreme Court races. They did not do good at all. And the only race they seemed to do good at was the Oregon race. Joe Biden outperformed and overperformed the chances of the write-in vote getting double digits. But you'll see Joe Biden had a humiliating night in Kentucky. He lost 7 delegates to uncommitted, which almost got 20% of the popular vote in the state of Kentucky. That is embarrassing. And on top of that, you got the races in Georgia, where abortion was previously a mentioned issue. This comes to show that, once again, the issue of abortion has died down significantly. Does it mean it's not going to be an issue in 2024 overall? No, it's not, but we can tell you it's definitely gone down since that we have seen much bigger problems arising, like the economy, immigration, of course, Israel and Hamas, and because of Israel and Hamas going on, that really does affect the left wing, the ultra left wing, because we know the pro-abortion movement is fueled by the ultra left, right? And the ultra left is currently preoccupied by Israel and Hamas, right? So with that going on, it's not a surprise that Republicans nailed it, but apparently it looks like Republicans nailed it by a landslide, specifically the the Court of Appeals races. You'll see Republicans, despite losing ground in like Cobb County and Douglas County, which I honestly would think you would need in order to pull a landslide. But apparently, Republicans won areas in the Black Belt. I mean, let's be honest, Republicans might as well just carry the whole Black population in general. What we're seeing in here right now, you see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Black counties going for Democrats. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have Macon going for Republicans. We have Savannah, Georgia going for Republicans. It was a great night. And we're going to talk more about Georgia in a separate video. But we're supposed take this as a intro to the Georgia election results. But what we're going to kind of take a deep dive when the rest of those results are called in. We'll also be looking at the other races. You'll see the majority of races have been unopposed, but it's really Miller's seat, which Justice M. Myvet Miller is retiring. And you'll see conservative, as you know, candidate Jeff Davis defeated the liberal candidate Tabitha Ponder with 57% of the popular vote. That's a big, huge victory. And it's impressive to see that, hey, you know what, you didn't win the Atlanta Metro in total, but you still managed to win. So very impressive. But I want to take a look at the Supreme Court race. You'll see our guy, Andrew Pinson, managed to win the said re-election against a pro-abortionist. This is John Barrow. And John Barrow, I know this guy. He is a weak candidate. And if it was any election, that Barrow was going to win in, it would be this election. Wouldn't it not? Right? Wouldn't it not? You'll see, taking a look at the issue at hand, Barrow specifically campaigned on abortion. And that was the main aspect of his campaign, abortion. And he kind of projected like, okay, Georgia is a state where abortion rights are at stake, quote unquote. It's in the South. Think about it. It's smack by Alabama and Tennessee and in the deep South where abortion is banned altogether. And Barrow pretty much campaigned on that. And in the end, Democrats, MSNBC were saying, oh, yes, this election is a chance for, you know what, as you know, there's a chance for Georgia to get more support, pro-abortion justices, but they got none. Absolutely none. And John Barrow would pretty much be the only one, and he lost bitterly to the said incumbent, Andrew Pinson. Reason being, well, there are other concerns in the United States other than abortion. Sorry, Democrats. There's actually most of these concerns are caused by you, the economy, the state of the economy, immigration, foreign policy. Did I say inflation? Basically, same thing. Economy, inflation, and overall the current corruption in the justice system. Yeah, people, and we have not heard anything about abortion lately. And I think in a state where the Democrats have been saying, oh, this is a state where abortion rights are definitely at stake. I mean, they say that at every state. They said that a year ago in Wisconsin. Oh, Wisconsin, abortion rights are at stake here. We go vote for Democrats so you can defend your rights. Yeah, they say that at every election. They could say that with New York or Maryland or Florida. And not to mention, we got a lot of ballot measures coming in. We have one in Florida, we have one in Maryland, of a potential ballot measure that would make abortion a constitutional right. But we'll see. We'll be reviewing those after Election Day. In the process, it's going to be a long process. So I'm looking forward to it. So yes, huge, great night for Republicans. It was so exciting, great momentum, and it's a step in the right directions. In the right direction. This comes to show that the issue of abortion does not work in Georgia, right? It does not work in Georgia because this guy John Barrow, who is a well-known figure. I mean, he's weak, really weak, and that's what the Democrats are going to say overall. Like I talked about how Daniel Kelly was a weak Supreme Court candidate from the very beginning in 2023. They're going to say, oh, John Barrow, he's super weak. Well, yeah, supposedly this is his 2018 results in Secretary of State. But let's give it to Daniel Kelly. Daniel Kelly, I mean, stayed in the margin what he performed 4 years ago. I mean, and plus, Daniel Kelly did a point better. Well, barely a point better. I mean, he made a point improvement in 2023 than in 2020. So that was the comparison with that. But you'll see John Barrow performed way better in said 2018 than he did in 2024. You'll see, yes, Barrow managed to win counties upon and around the Black Belt, like counties like Republicans usually win. This county, Berks County, this county right here, this county, yeah, but it's very lopsided. And the reason being is you don't have an R by your name. You don't have a D by your name. Supposedly you're going to vote for you have to do research. You actually have to do research on the candidate. which honestly is very preferable. You got to do research on your candidate, and people, yeah, it's hard work, but if you really want to participate in this election, you'll have to do the work and research. So that's what they kind of did, and you'll see um, Pynchon managed to win liberal areas like Macon. Heck, he won the most liberalist county in the state of Georgia, and that is Clayton County. A lot of people, I believe a majority of people will say Fulton County is the most liberal, or DeKalb County is the most liberal. Breaking news. Fulton is not the most liberal county. It's the third most liberalist county behind DeKalb. But it's actually Clayton County that is the most liberal. According to 2020 results, 84% of Democrats, 84% of Clayton County voted for Joe Biden. And it seems Clayton County has always been the Democrat hold since the very beginning. Heck, I mean, it has an African American majority in the said county, according to demographics. The Black Belt is pretty popular there. 68% as of 2020, so that makes sense. And there's currently a 297,000 population, the seat being Jonesboro. Yeah, it's somewhat rural, but yes, you'll have some areas in the metro, but overall, this is a Democrat stronghold. Overall, Jonesboro, including a Democrat stronghold. 4,000 people, and it's a full-blown Democrat city. Ellenwood being, I think that, yeah, that's an unincorporated community, but yes, that's Clayton County, and it went conservative this year. Went conservative, and that part of the reason is the ancestral Republicans and just overall people not knowing who sides with who, and that's also part of the reason people don't know who sides with who, and they just guess. That I have done that with ballots, but not in big races, just to let you know. But I've done that in county races, like which judge I want. Okay, I honestly, there, um, in Carver County, Minnesota, where I live, it's not really known, so you actually have to call them up and ask about their views, and that's kind of awkward. And and I'm like, you know what? It's either I don't vote in those races or I just second guess myself. So that's interesting too. So very fascinating that Clayton County did vote the way it did. It didn't just vote by just 1 point. It voted for like almost 5 points for the conservative candidate. Yes, in the end of the day, DeKalb County wasn't the most liberalist. I want to believe that this Bibb County is right here, but that's Clark County, which holds Athens, Georgia. That was the most Democrat and the best that Mr. Barrow did and performed at the end of the night. The closest race was this county right here, and that's also a part of the Black Belt, interestingly enough. But yes, we won also Douglas County, which also is a former Republican stronghold. But actually, believe it or not, people say, oh, and generally Cobb County is more conservative than Douglas. But in this race, we won Douglas by 56% and Cobb by 53. So that was very interesting seeing that we did better in Douglas. And it's reason being, yeah, and that's mostly because of the lopsidedness that this is nonpartisan. This isn't a partisan election where it's Democrat versus Republican. It's actually conservative versus liberal. There's no party ties or nothing, and you're running on your own platform. And when you do that, you tend to see a much different county alignment and much different results. You'll see it's more lopsided. Like Republican counties that usually vote Republican will probably go liberal. Not probably, but could go liberal. And counties that usually vote Democrat could possibly go Republican. So it's really tossed up. It's lopsided. It's unexpected. But in this case, it's either not many people showed up and voted. And I'll tell you, that could be the case because low turnout election, less than 1,000 votes. Same deal with the uh, a Court of Appeals races. But when you have Stephen Dillard's seat, you see he get to 1 million. Ken Hodges, he got to 1 million. Benjamin Land, Amanda H. Mercier, Brian M. Rickman, and Jeffrey A. Watkins, they got up to 1 million votes. But yes, that's for the Court of Appeals. But yeah, you'll see Supreme Court seats like Boggs and Ellington and Peterson, they did the same thing too. So that is the night. Bad night for Democrats. Don't listen to anyone that said, oh, Biden did just fine. It's just hypocritical because we have people that say, oh, Republicans can't win special elections. They're so weak and they're MAGA Republicans. And then we have elections like this and they're like, actually, special elections don't count. Literally. You don't know how many times I've been confronted by a liberal where they're saying, oh, Republicans are going to win because they are not performing well in special elections. Well, or we just performed excellent in these special elections all around the country in May, and they're telling me, oh, but special elections have nothing to do with the general presidential election. Dude, you literally just told me about months ago, back like in Wisconsin, that's like a year ago, that Republicans can't win because they are not performing well in special elections. But now we're performing excellent. We didn't just perform well in Georgia and Kentucky, but we performed well in greatly weeks ago, like a month ago, in Wisconsin in April, the April primary, in the Wisconsin spring elections. We flipped judicial districts and everything. And they're saying, nope, that doesn't count either. So I can agree to them to a point. These special elections, low turnout, it probably won't influence the general. And seeing that, yeah, this is as you know, a nonpartisan set election. People have to really research the candidate and his or her views on all that stuff, and people may misinterpret the views, or people might guess because they're too lazy, or people just don't vote at all. So that really does influence the vote. But you really shouldn't have said, "Oh, Republicans aren't going to win because they don't win special elections." Really? So you see how hypocritical the Democrats are? Really? Yeah. They'll say anything. They'll yippee-i-o out of their mouth whatever they can to strike you down and make you feel low. And when the opposite happens, they'll whack those comments back, and they're and they go into a coping fit. They use their coping to defend themselves. Oh, this doesn't count. No. President Joe Biden's gonna win Georgia. Really? No, guys, you don't understand. Joe Biden is donezo. As of May 21st, 2024, Joe Biden is donezo in Georgia. He is done. D-O-N-E. He's running on the issue of abortion. He's trying to get people out. Well, what did the Democrats do? Run ads for months about abortion and trying to get people, how Republicans could possibly ban abortion in Georgia. And what did that give them? It gave them nothing. It gave them an embarrassing defeat because people are done being used by them because they're realizing, oh, wait, hang on. Democrats aren't going to make abortion rights legal. They're just gaslighting so they can get money. So they can get us to the polls, basically scam you, to be honest, so they can profit. It's quite literally what they're doing. Is it not? So, interesting take in the state of Georgia. We are not done yet. We have more news. We have what many people call a rhino, but Nikki Haley came out and said that she is going to vote for Donald Trump. Now, as you know, in this channel, we really do counter Nikki Haley's viewpoints. We are very critical on how she ran her primary. She ran as a victim. She played the feminist card. She played the stereotype of an Indian woman playing the race card and the woman card. That's not what Republican conservatives do. That is called, as you know, instigating. That, as you know, instigating and manipulating. Using your personal, not your beliefs, but your personal traits. And guess what? I have nothing against Nikki Haley because I have nothing against. I don't care if she's a woman. I don't care if she comes from Hindu. She was a Hindu. I don't care if she is an Indian. I really don't care. You know what? I care less. It's about how she ran her campaign. And I didn't like that Nikki Haley wanted to bomb Iran because that's not how we do things in the United States. I mean, okay, you are presented a question on the debate stage. You have Ukraine, you have Israel Hamas, and the audience, the American Republican the Republican Party is wondering what your policy is going to be in order to stop conflicts. Well, Nikki Haley says what we need to do is stop our enemies, Iran and Russia, from attacking our allies. So we just bomb them and out of existence. No! And we got liberals that side with Nikki Haley and they say, oh, MAGA Republicans, they're against bombing Iran. They're siding with Iran and Russia. They don't want to attack Russia. They're siding with Russia. No, because that's immature. That's what 6-year-olds do. 6-year-olds playing war tank or something like that. They always think, pew, 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 bad guy. No. What you know, he's your opponent, but you see your children, right? And that's what international politics is. It's all about the people's interests. Russia looks down to its children, innocent, fragile. Many of them live innocent lives. We don't hate the Russian people. And the Russian people deserve to live freely. And Russia loves their people. The United States looks down to their children, the American people, living in a free society, living in democracy. And then they suddenly look at each other. Russia looks at the United States saying, they're going to kill our children. The United States looks at Russia. Same thing. They're going to kill my children. What are you going to do? Are you going to throw rocks and bombs at them to protect your kids? No, because there is a chance that you're going to underperform that. Your enemy will outdo you. And guess what? It's not you that's screwed. It's your children. So for your children's safety and for your loved one's safety, for the sake of the American people and the land and democracy in abroad and in the nation, and in democracy in the West and abroad, you talk with Russia calmly. Hey, Russia, we oppose each other, we hate each other, but we don't want a world war. For the sake of our people, right? For the sake of our people, we want our people to live. We can agree with Russia. Russia will nod their head and agree. Iran will nod their head and agree. Hey, you know what? Let's not go to war. Let's sit down and let's talk. We have countries that don't want to talk to us. Afghanistan and Iran are those countries that bitterly hate us, but that's their politics. That's their politics. And we don't have to sit down and talk. But if that's not the case, bombing Iran is not the second option. Plan B is, okay, how, and that's what the moderators were asking Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley said, bomb Iran. Bomb Iran out of existence. Go into a war. That's ridiculous. No. So, I don't know if she obviously still views that, but what's done is done. What's over is over. And you know what? A lot of people will not like what I have to say, but you know what? We gotta forgive Nikki Haley. Reason why? Yes, she was annoying. And being a Republican doesn't mean you have to love every Republican. You know what? There's so many Republicans that I do not like and I do not want to support. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't vote for Nikki Haley at all if she was running for president. I wouldn't. Because she's a Democrat. She's a Democrat. Sure, she's a Republican in name only, but let's think of it. She's endorsing Trump. She's endorsing Trump. A lot of us were laughing. Ha ha, she doesn't really mean it. Well, that doesn't change the fact that she endorsed him. She's offering to give him support. We don't want to turn her off, right? So Trump doesn't have to say, oh, Nikki Haley, oh, thank you for endorsing me, I'm going to make you the VP. No. If that's what she's looking for, she's not going to get it. And I would strongly oppose that, period. I think a Trump-Haley campaign would be disaster, and that would cost us the election, period. But what you would say is, okay, I think a reconciliation between Trump and Haley is necessary. And we don't have to bow down and like Nikki Haley. We won't have to cheer and applaud Nikki Haley, but we should coexist. Because we want those Haley voters to vote for Trump. Don't we not? All those Democrats are saying, look at all those Haley voters. They're not voting for Trump. A lot of them are Democrats, right? But it doesn't matter. A lot of them, of those Haley voters, are actually devoted Haley voters that are Republican conservatives, right? We want those people to vote for us. We want those people to come out and vote for Trump. So to see Nikki Haley, their leader, come out and endorse Trump, that's allegedly going to get their support, her supporters, out and going. That some of them are too anti-Trump to even think about Trump. But some of those voters that say, and a lot of those Haley voters like Trump, but they just don't think he can win again because January 6th, convictions, etc. And they just think Nikki Haley is the alternative. And a lot of those people were DeSantis supporters that joined the Nikki Haley campaign. Well, I hate to tell you guys, but we need those people. We need those people, and you can disagree with me. A lot of people on my channel hate those people so much you want to do anything about it. Well, guess what? You may hate those people so much, but what are you going to do? Telling them to go away and vote for Biden is going to hurt you more. It's going to hurt you. You're basically stabbing a knife into your stomach. Sorry about getting so graphic, but that is what you're doing. And then you get Adam Kissinger whining and pouting, crying. Adam Kissinger's a Democrat. He's done. He joined CNN. He has the three-letter words that are part of the three-letter cult words by his name, CNN. The R doesn't exist. He's done. So Kissinger doesn't have a say in our party. He's excluded. He's suspended. He's terminated. He's done. But I believe the GOP is a party of second chances. We are the party of second chances because look at us. We are nominating a criminal. And I don't believe Donald Trump's a criminal. But in the record book, in the book, guys, I hate to say it, but in the book, Donald Trump's a criminal. And we don't have to recognize that, but in the technical book, Donald Trump's a criminal. But the positive fact of that is the GOP sees Trump's dignity. The Democrats and independents, they say criminal, and they turn their backs on you. And the GOP, the party of Christianity and Jesus Christ, and a lot of liberals will laugh at me, but this is our Christian roots coming out. We look at the criminal, in this case Donald Trump, and say, you are loved, you have dignity, and you have potential, you have a conviction, you're not perfect, you're a sinner, and we are sinners too. And if you like it or not, Democrats, it's true. You guys don't have the guts to take out Bob Menendez. But there's a reason why Bob Menendez isn't running for re-election, because he knows he's done. Let's give it for credit. At least they're getting rid of that guy. But, they're more about winning than actually showing love to others. Think about that. They're more about their money than showing love and dignity and compassion. In this case, Donald Trump is 90-some accusations against him. I don't know how many times he's going to get convicted. Who gets that? And the liberal media everyone and the Democrats are expecting us to turn our backs and spit at Trump's face, laugh at him, just like the Pharisees and the Romans did to Christ at the scourging at the pillar. Another Jesus Christ comparison, but it's true. It's true. Trump's not Jesus. In fact, Trump is a sinner. He's done some dirty stuff and some stuff that I do not endorse. But you know what? Don't we all? Right? How do I know you, the viewer, has done something worse? And I'm not going to turn you off. The fact is, no matter the wrong, how much wrong Trump did, he will always be loved by Jesus and God. And in order to be Christ-like, we must love just as Christ loves. So that's why the GOP is the party of second chances. The GOP could have seen the history of candidates, nominees, and politicians that have been convicted and say, hey, there's no chance for this guy. He's done. Because there's a string of candidates and nominees that lose re-election once being convicted. But the GOP says no, because we have love for this guy. We have sorrow for this guy. Just like Jesus went to the woman at the well. No one wanted to be with the woman at the well. But Jesus went up there and he embraced the woman at the well. And everyone was looking at Jesus, even the Pharisees, which are the Democrats, right? The Democrats are the modern day Pharisees. They're the rule followers. You're not supposed to do that. But Jesus said, you know what? You're the one talking. You're talking. And that's what, these are modern day examples. Trump, honestly, I think is in the picture of our religion and our faith is honestly strengthening our faith and people around, because it's helping us realize, hey, we are not Christ-like. We love Jesus and we treat Trump like garbage because you don't want to be called a Trump lover, or you don't want to be have mean things or your account suspended. Well, I tell you what, that's not Christ-like. You don't have to like Trump. I'm not saying that. But you recognize that Trump is human. Trump has dignity. You claim that Trump treats other people like garbage. Well, you fail to cite sources. Well, you know what? He's treating people like garbage right now because guess what? When you are constantly insulted, harassed, bullied, you start getting sour and you start to retaliate and you start to do the name calling. You start to do the same thing that your opponents are doing. You're striking back. And then when Trump does it, oh no, that's so mean and cruel. You're the one that started it. You, since 2015, guys, when he came down the escalator saying, I'm running for president. And he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't say anything bigoted. He didn't say anything wrong. And you guys are going to say, oh, he's going to end democracy. Fascist, bigot, sexist. Really? And the day before, you loved Trump. But because he meddled in your life, you hate him. Okay, this video is getting too long. Yeah, I was originally talking about, so a lot to talk about today. This is probably the longest video of the month, but it was a pretty big day. Last night, we got the Georgia primary, not the primary, it was the general election, along with Nikki Haley, which we've called as an anti-Trumper. I never recognized Nikki Haley as anti-Trumper. No. I think of her as a Bush Republican. She's kind of a rhino. I'll call her a rhino. I wouldn't call her a liberal. She's socially conservative, but she's a rhino. She's more liberal fiscally, if you will. But other than that, what are your thoughts on the Georgia race? What are your thoughts on Nikki Haley? But anyway, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.